Top 3 inspirations for creating outside of comic books. Good question, guys, in no particular order. Number 1, film, specifically Darren Aronofsky, David Fincher, David Lynch, but mostly guys like Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is a huge inspiration of mine. I love his cinematography, his symmetry in scenes, and specifically his use of color tones and palettes and synchronicity with that. Comic books is a visual medium, and it's so funny when you see people care so much about the art, even care so much about the inking, sometimes even so much about the lettering, but then kind of lose the plot when it comes to the coloring. The coloring is such a pivotal part of the story, and you can tell so much story in the color tones you use, the palette, the depth and texture of the colors, the richness, sharpness, saturation, or lack thereof. I mean, just look at something like Sin City and how much story is conveyed just with the red impact tones that they use. Or I name drop this book a lot, but Brian Michael Bendis' Daredevil or Alias Run. The color tones they use are so specific, muted yet intentional, and convey so much. Film should show you, not tell you, if a director's doing a good job. And there's a lot that I think that can be conveyed into comic books. You can tell a lot by panel size, panel structure, the weight and movement, how rapidly characters are moving in a panel, how minimal they're moving in a panel. It says a lot about the feeling and the weight of that. It adds gravity to it, and I think people lose that when it comes to comic books. They want bigger, faster action, and I don't think that's always the best storytelling. Pacing is important. When I wrote Kill Stan, I really wanted to be relentless and feel like a movie, and a lot of people have used the word cinematic when they read it, so I am glad that's conveying. I think it's good to look at film and see how we can convert that into comic books. There's a way to do it in a way to really make it work, even though comic book are static frames. Number 2, literature, specifically guys like Kurt Vonnegut and Chuck Palahniuk, kind of the heir apparent to the cynicism of Vonnegut. In 2011, I published a novel. Someone read that book and they told me that my writing reminded them of Chuck Palahniuk. I'd never read any Chuck Palahniuk at that time. I didn't know who he was. I'd seen the movie Fight Club. I don't think I even knew it was a book before that. I started reading Chuck Palahniuk's work, and I want to make this clear. I don't think I'm anywhere near as good of a writer as Chuck Palahniuk. He's a generational talent. The guy is just a phenomenal mind, brilliant in the way he views things. But I did see some parallels, and I certainly kind of leaned into that with comic books, taking some aspects of that kind of dark humor, cynicism, extremism with sharp, biting commentary on society, mental illness, and so many of the things we all go through in our day-to-day life while, making the ugliest things pretty and the prettiest things ugly. Steinbeck's another guy I read a lot of that I just love. He was so great at taking these little character personal pieces and making you just invested in this character. I'm not sure if anyone was better doing character pieces than Steinbeck. He really sucked you into understanding people in these small vignettes, these small little novellas. And I think comic books are kind of a form of a novella with pictures. So lastly, just life in general. That sounds kind of like a cop-out, but I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I've always been obsessed with writings. All I wanted to do, I would spend my spare time writing just crazy stories, crazy things, just things I didn't know where they were going to go, funny lines, anything I thought was interesting to me. I used to go to the mall where I lived, and I would sit in the center of the mall, and I would watch people. And I would watch people, not necessarily be able to hear them, but I would just watch them in the way their movements, their body language, their facial expressions, and I would write a story about them, write a story of what they were doing, how the interaction was going. If someone was sad, I would write why they were sad, and I would just take that time to find that human interaction with them and connect myself to that interaction. I think that's when I fell in love with writing dialogue. Also, sorry everyone, I used to eavesdrop a lot on conversations, not because I wanted to hear what people were saying. I wanted to hear how they were saying things and how genuine conversation took place, and I wanted that to feel organic in my characters, what I wrote. People have pauses, people misspeak, people say things in fumbled ways, and I really get pulled out of things when people speak in such a perfect way all the time, because that's just not reality. So the closer I could get my writing to the way people engage, the closer I felt I was getting people to connect to what I was creating. Just felt would feel more organic and natural. Anyway, guys, that's the top 3 things I'm inspired by to create outside of comic books. Feel free to send me yours. I'm always interested in what people are inspired by. Also, Kill Stand number 2 is coming out this week. We will be at Dragon's Lair in San Antonio this Saturday for Free Comic Book Day, debuting Kill Stand number 2. We'll have multiple copies, variants. We'll have a CGC 9.8 signature series signed by me. We're going to be raffling off. And also the shop on inferno.earth, our website, is up. You can order now and your books will be shipping ASAP. So thanks, guys. And if you have any questions, email me, DM me, and happy to answer yours too. Later.